What are signs of depression that aren't talked about? Your heart hurts so much, not in a physical way really, it just feels so heavy. When I was depressed I felt excessive guilt for a lot of tiny things all the time. My room is spotless thanks to Jordan Peterson. I have no problem getting out of my bed and performing at work. But when I'm home, alone, I just stare at a blank wall having no energy. Not knowing what you want to do but knowing something needs to change. What if you do all of these things but you know, or you are convinced, you aren't depressed? I get moments where I feel very down, mainly because of where I am at in life. I didn't do well at all during university when I know I am intelligent, and I am currently unemployed. How being drunk/high makes you feel a million times better, not even exaggerating. I liken it to being outside in the freezing cold all day to the point where you just want to lay down on the ground and give up. Then there's a small cozy hut. You enter, and there's a hearth with a roaring fire, a pot of hearty chicken noodle soup on a simmer, and a big cozy bed for you to climb into. It's all yours. As bad as it sounds, if it weren't for drugs and booze, I would have done myself in years ago. They lie back/hide that they are depressed. They try to act there is nothing wrong. People that tell you themselves they are depressed probably they don't know what depression is. Tell me honestly, does having increased sex drive counts? Self-destructive ideation. You can throw yourself into doing a thing because if it kills you, at least you died making some kind of dent. Anger. I have such a short fuse when I'm really depressed. How much it can physically hurt. I already deal with chronic pain but it's so much worse when I'm depressed, and nothing helps. It's almost like I gain a sudden immunity to the pain control I have access to. On a mental health screening I realized it. Lack of interest in things you once had interest in. Yay, loss of interest in all hobbies. These comments made me realize that Riley from Inside Out was experiencing depression. After reading most of the comments, I'm starting to realize that I have all of these symptoms. May I ask which medicine helped some of you the most? When I start not going out of the house. People will invite to a picnic or just to walk and I will agree, then again in a last minute I will back out because I will keep thinking that I will just ruin their day or I will be out of place. Right now I was starting to scroll my media because I didn't open them for like 2 months now. I am starting to bounce back after a year and a half of trying not to go deeper in my depression. I don't want to get darker to my depression knowing what will happen next. Finding out something horrible and not feeling anything about it. Just numb. Trying to deal with this right now. I'm not angry, sad, upset, in disbelief. I'm just here. I've had depression and anxiety for years and have had it pretty well managed until now. I know I'll get out of it. Just takes time and my coping mechanisms. Random small twitches apparently. This is a great and really important question. I haven't read all of the answers but got a gist, so hoped I would add on. If you are questioning if you are depressed, read on, and if you think it may fit, then seeking help is the best thing you can do for yourself. I would like to note that a lot of these things will start in a very subtle manner. Depression is sneaky and you often will think that you will snap out of it. For example, not brushing your teeth for a week was mentioned. Well, that starts with skipping brushing at night on occasion. Going to bed a little late to finish your show just tonight becomes almost every night. Ah, that extra beer isn't going to kill me, then it can become every night. I changed my mind, don't feel like going out, that's fine, but when was the last time you met friends out? COVID in consideration. That being said, is COVID always your excuse? Have you tried Zoom, the phone? Basically, are you having it kill any interaction with others? You want to ask for help but don't because you don't want to bother someone. This is for both those that normally would ask and those that would ask in a roundabout way. For example, you are seeing a psychologist but have hit the point you should be seeing a psychiatrist as well. Please keep reading everyone's suggestions, and more importantly, take care of yourselves. It is the small things that build up into the mountains we don't believe we can conquer. One of the things I don't hear about a lot is memory loss. When I was at my worst, I don't remember almost anything from that entire year. I know I did things, because I do remember when I was able to break through and enjoy something for a little bit. Nothing else though. The other thing is that when I found myself enjoying something, I remember having a sudden disconnect and would spiral down hard. Like an switch flipped and I started believing that I didn't deserve any of it and had suicidal thoughts. People were able to see it too. It was like a different person was suddenly there. I've gotten therapy/meds now and am doing significantly better now and am honestly appreciative of my experience with it. Being able to relate with my friends who also have had depression/suicidal problems has been a good source of relief for both myself and those around me. The want to do something but also the fear that anything you do will be pointless or that you feel you won't enjoy it. The headaches, fatigue, and body aches. Depression has actual physical symptoms, not just mental ones, and that should be acknowledged. Heck, sometimes I have difficulty initially knowing if I'm depressed or dealing with a cold. They actually feel pretty similar in the beginning. Bottling up any emotions you have without realizing and just feeling numb but act completely fine around other people because you don't want them to worry and you don't want to be a burden, and when you feel you are a burden you think how much easier life would be for everyone else if you just happened to disappear. Memory loss. When I'm more depressed than usual I forget the names for everyday objects and names of close loved ones. Forget where I am and where I'm going on routes I take every day. My memory is fairly bad most days, but at my most depressed it's frightening. Insomnia. It's not always the same for everyone. Some might feel numb, some might feel like they're sad. For me it's procrastination 'cause I feel like crap. Being calm in a dangerous situation. But that can save you sometimes. For me part of it was doing things that might look good, but actually make you more miserable. One time I was starting to enter an episode and then decided to give up smoking and drinking at the same time. It looks like you doing something good and healthy, but the withdrawal makes you even worse. If a person starts distributing important personal possessions, things you wouldn't expect them to give away like high-value items, items they were proud of or really liked, or heirlooms under some circumstances, it could mean they are planning on taking their life. Writing a question on it in a forum. After reading a lot of these comments, I'm so depressed I can't even blink. An inability to feel joy or pleasure in things you once enjoyed. I have so many hobbies I love, but when I'm down I want to do absolutely nothing because I feel like there's no point. This pandemic is certainly not helping. I relate to the people who say that wanting to do something like your hobbies and interests but just not doing anything, aka lack of motivation. I have big motivation and confidence problems. It doesn't help that I've always liked doing the same old things in the same old routine, and that my interests are also outside that routine, so getting to them is much more difficult than I like. The repulsion to cleaning yourself. Sometimes it's not that you can't summon the energy, it's the idea of water touching you, other than washing your hands, that makes your skin crawl. Sometimes in my darkness times it was almost like I physically couldn't clean. I'd leave plates and trash everywhere, even though I wanted to clean and thought that I could never bring myself to do it. For me, I need to play video games. It's the only thing that distracts me enough to stop ruminating and get bad thoughts out of my head. I'm sure others have something they fixate on to an unhealthy degree simply to avoid reality. Sometimes though, when I recognize how bad my addiction to distraction is, I feel much worse. At night my thoughts are darker than the outside, and games are my void when I cannot sleep. Morning nausea. Drastic change in appetite and digestion, including bowel movements. I just learned about this recently. Look, I can't talk about it here. Because if I talk about it, then it will not be an answer to this question. Always saying you're fine or okay. I give work 100%, and 2020 both physically and mentally broke me. The mental portion was helped when my direct supervisor left. The physical portion was treated with surgery, which everyone thought would just completely fix my problems. Not being able to rehab correctly has actually sent me back into depression. Yet I feel I can't give less than 100% at work and tell people I am still struggling. Staying up all night for no reason. Inability to sleep for more than a few hours at a time. Anger in men. Feels like a black cloud is lingering inside of me, taking up all the space. Not sad, don't wanna die. Want to be happy, laugh, and most importantly, I need sunshine. You start forgetting things more.